Hello. So I got pushed into this awkward conversation with my roommates yesterday in college. They come and knock on my door in order to ask me whether I would sleep with or you know, become sexually intimate with just any random girl they happen to find, because she wants to right then. And of course, it's a hypothetical question for them, but they knock on my door in order to ask me this, and I'm sitting in there watching cartoons, right? Watching old Homestar Runner cartoons, in fact. And so I'm standing there in a bathrobe, and they knock on my door in order to ask me this sort of deeply personal question, and I felt like just saying, look, this is none of your business, and you're only asking it in order to make fun of me. But what but I actually gave them, answered, no, I would not do that, because I believe in living my life based on principles. I felt like quoting Dr. Tony Evans and saying, because I prefer not to live the life of Fido. But, I basically said I try, not that I always do, but I try to live my life according to basically Christian moral standards. And my interest in women is an interest in finding the person I want to marry, the person I want to spend the rest of my life with and start a family with. Not an interest in, casual, off-the-cuff, irresponsible college relationships. Which is all the girls I've met in college so far have been interested in, it seems. Unless they were already taken. Anyway, so their response to that is that this is, quote, unnatural, unquote. Now, I can't really disagree with their saying that it's unnatural, because, but I have a little bit more of a philosophical view of it, that the word natural means unintentional. It means accidental. It means what you would get if you didn't bother to change it. That's what the word natural means. As such, Christian morality, especially in regards to sexuality, is unnatural in that context. It's natural in another context in that we believe as Christians that it is what God designed, but it is unnatural in the sense that, given our present fallen condition, it is what we would be like if we didn't bother to live otherwise. As such, the natural life is the unexamined life, and as Socrates put it, the unexamined life is not worth living. And but the irony of this whole situation is that I have tried to avoid preaching at or verbally judging my roommates, at least in front of them. One of them's an African American. I've tried to avoid making fun of his ridiculous accent. except when they just start blatantly saying somewhat graphic and, in my opinion, not just my opinion, graphic and disgusting things in the common area, in which case I've said, dude, that's pretty gross, why don't you change the subject, But apart from that, I've tried to avoid, arguing with or judging them. But here, they're the ones bothering me and then coming in to ask me personal questions. And it turns out that they're the ones who are behaving in a judgmental, closed-minded, intolerant kind of way. That's the supreme irony of modern culture, is that the tolerant seem to be the supremely intolerant. Sort of intolerance of tolerance paradox. That the definition of tolerance in modern life seems to be an extreme hatred bordering on violence for anyone perceived to be intolerant, and I just have to say, even apart from being a Christian, there's a certain sense of primitive honor that I think a real man would have, right? A sense that women deserve better than the kind of men that they're getting, right? That's I actually like a lot of people. I suppose on the sort of Christian right would sort of really not like the lyrics of Bonnie Tyler's disco tune, "Holding Out for a Hero," because it starts off with, "Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds?" This sort of, but I think there's something important sort of in the lyrics there. The idea there is that men these days have largely become weaklings, right? They're overgrown boys, They haven't become what I would consider real men, And I really ought to upload on my YouTube channel this message from Dr. Tony Evans from sometime in the 80s. I think it was the 80s. Portrait of a Real Man. That message, which I heard when I was, I'm guessing, somewhere 9 to 12, somewhere in that age range when I first heard it, that message has, I think, had a profound effect on my life. And I think it provides a much better alternative than the very empty, meaningless sort of lifestyle or worldview or perspective on life that I find mostly surrounding me in college. All right. Well, I guess that's enough for today. Examined face.